Thank you all so much for joining us. If you are here, that means you've been accepted to the college, are considering it as your home for the next 4 years, which is super exciting. And so we wanted to host this event to give you all a chance to ask questions to current students about adjusting to campus life at CofC. And the students we have here are from a variety of different backgrounds. You can ask anything. We really want it to be interactive. We have some questions that we'll start off with, but then feel free to write questions in the chat. Anything from classes to like dorms to like activities on campus or in Charleston. We're here for it all. We want to give you a big picture look at what life could be like for you here for the next 4 years. So Yaron and I will quickly do our spiels. I will let Yaron take it away. He is the director of the Jewish Studies Department here at the College of Charleston. At CofC, Hillel is actually part of Jewish Studies. So Yaron and I work closely together to help build a warm and welcoming environment for all students.
Okay, thank you. Hi, everyone, and thank you, Deb. I'm Yaron. I direct the Jewish Studies program here. And it's nice to meet and see all of you, at least those of you that I can see. So I have to say, unlike my colleagues here and the other students, I have neither expertise in admissions, nor am a very good person when it comes to marketing, but I do know that, I've worked at 5 universities, and CofC is by far the best place I've worked at. And really the only school where I haven't met miserable students. And really that's true. I've met in every school I taught students who were like, oh, I wish I never came here. And I've not even met one student like that at the College of Charleston. Everyone just loves being here. Now, on a more serious note, Jewish Studies is really a very special place. We are the only Jewish Studies program in the country that oversees and houses Hillel within the program. And that gives us multiple advantages, from how students are engaged with us, to access to resources, to all sorts of opportunities for students. Sometimes we need interns for a certain task that we need filled. And, it's, of course, the students who are engaged with us on some level are the first ones who come to mind. We have a fabulous 24,000 square foot building and we're also looking towards growing even further with perhaps making more space for Hillel. Might take 2 or 3 years, but I think we will get there. We offer the only Jewish Studies major in the state of South Carolina, and we're the fastest growing Jewish Studies major in the country. And I mean, the numbers don't lie. We had only 3 majors 3 years ago, and we now have 16. And the numbers are growing. And so, of course, anyone, unless those of you who really have always planned to be Jewish Studies major, everyone else might ask, well, why is that? Well, one, because we invest in our students. We may have a huge facility, but we're actually pretty small in size. And we're small enough to care deeply about our students' success academically, professionally, and also personally. And it's really not unusual for our students, majors, minors, just those taking courses with us, to spend an hour or more in a professor's office, or just to come and hang out and chat. This happens all the time. That's one thing. 2, because our major fits in with almost any other major. We call it the best second major, and for a good reason. You can complete between a third and half of it just via gen ed courses that you anyway have to take. You can take it with Hebrew, with Arabic, with German, or actually a few other languages if you get special permission. And it's not that hard to get the special permission, because I know the person who gives that permission, and that happens to be me. So we train you in a broad set of skills that are applicable across all professions, from writing to unconventional thinking. Note that I don't say critical thinking like everyone else says, because I don't even know what that means. But we train you in how to find solutions to problems that others just can't solve. to think creatively and differently, to have this edge over other candidates in whatever area you compete for next. So I guess if you ask me, yeah, well, you know, what could I do with a degree in Jewish studies? I'd say, I'll just tell you, I'm sorry, that's the wrong question. The right question is, what can you do with your other degree once you also have a degree in Jewish studies? And that is the right question. So that's my second reason. Third reason why we're growing is that we have funding for all sorts of things, including study abroad. I know now many people are not thinking about study abroad, but guess what? The time will come when we will start going abroad again. And when that time comes, we have resources to support our students in doing this. Almost all students that I know want to study abroad. Not everyone thinks carefully about what the costs of study abroad are. And sometimes when you add up the flights and where you have to live and all sorts of other things, it's like, ooh, I have another $8,000 to spend. I'm not promising anyone $8,000, don't worry, but I'm saying we have ways to help that many other majors and programs in the college don't. And that's good. That's what we want to do. What is my fourth reason why we're growing? We're just very cool people, to be honest. And when students take a course with us, initially, maybe they just do it to fulfill a gen ed requirement. Maybe they just happen to land in our courses, but they soon realize that they want to take more courses with us. That's almost always what happens. And I guess my last reason would be that I think that at least in normal non-pandemic times, we feed you all the time. Really, there's just food here all the time. I know that's not a main reason to study with anyone, but for me, when I was a student, it was a good reason. So I thought I would mention it. Maybe Deb can speak more about the food aspects of it in a second. Anyways, Jewish studies is a place, but it's also a community of students, whether they're active in Hillel or take courses with us or both. It's a place that has deep ties to the local Charleston Jewish community in a way that really I haven't seen anywhere else. And this makes us this ideal home away from home for many of our students. We are the only program at the College of Charleston that has its own building, like the entirety of the building is just us. And that tells you much about the college's commitment to Jewish studies and to Jewish life on campus. We can get things done that no one else on campus can. So you do want to be affiliated with us. We are probably one of the very few programs that have this reputation across campus that, you know, you guys in Jewish studies, the rules don't apply to you. You guys can do whatever you want. I hear this all the time. And I look at this as a positive thing, by the way, that we can help our students in ways that maybe others cannot. I have two last points here. One is an important issue about what it means to be Jewish at the College of Charleston. We don't have, at least in recent memory, no incidents with anti-Semitism, no BDS or fierce anti-Israeli activities, no incidents of any of this thing, of any type, at least again, not in recent memory. It really is a good place to be Jewish and to be a student and to be a Jewish student. And you know, if you come here, we will give you all the advice you need about courses to take so you can be on track to your own major, but also to a major or at least a minor with us, because sometimes it's really easy to get it. It doesn't even require much additional work. Last point I'll make, and then I'll turn it over back to Deb, is about one opportunity that really only our program offers, and that's the Perlmutter Fellows Program. This is an academic enhancement and leadership development program with lots of support and funding to make whatever ideas you have to help you make them a reality. In other words, if you're the kind of person who wants to change the world, this is the program for you. And I'm mentioning it today because today is the deadline to apply. All of you should have received an invitation to apply. And if you haven't, you can ask for it in the chat, and we're happy to send you the details. But the deadline to apply is still tonight. The good news is that it only requires, you know, one page application, so it won't take you very long to do it, even if you haven't done it yet. But I really do encourage all of you to apply. It's a great program that's only going to become even better.
I'm sorry, just to add to that, Yaron, sorry, before you move on from Perlmutter, it's open to students across majors. So even if you're not planning right now on studying Jewish studies at all, you can still apply for the program.
That's right. Yes. And there's more information in the message that we sent out. And again, I'm happy to send it to anyone who has not received it. Yes, I hope all of you would apply. We will start screening for that very, very soon. And we will give out answers before the deadline to decide if you're coming to the college or not, because for some people, it might be a factor. And so that's it on my part. So Deb, I send it back to you.
Thank you, Yaron. And yes, we can put the link in the chat. Thank you. So hi, I'm Deb. I am the Hillel Director here at College of Charleston. I will just talk briefly because I think the main people that we all want to hear from are the current students. But what I have to say now, because I know I've spoken to many of you before, and now that you're on this call, it means you've either committed or are really thinking about CofC. So just to like paint a picture of like a week at Hillel or in Jewish studies, we have something going on all the time in the Jewish Studies Center. And as Yaron alluded to, there is usually food. So in a typical week, there might, like on Monday night, there is a student peer-led learning group that meets called Havara. So that's on Monday. We do pretty regular schmooze with Jews, bagel brunches on Tuesday afternoons. Wednesday is our very popular Meet to Eat, which is a free meal for all students that both Jewish and non-Jewish students come to. It's a really nice community meal. And although we haven't been able to eat together this year during the pandemic, we've still been able to serve students food. On Thursday, I run a Jewish learning fellowship that Mike and Sophie are both in, which is a paid opportunity that also includes dinner to explore Jewish texts and Jewish values in a modern lens and through discussion. And then there's all sorts of other, different small group meetings, studying classes, things happening in the building. So there's always people around, which is nice. And not all of these activities take place in our building, I should mention. We are not just confined here, but it is very nice to have a space to ourselves. And then, of course, Friday night, which is Shabbat, we have a Shabbat service that is currently being led by Rebecca, who is the Shabbat chair for the Hillel Student Board. Lovely voice, amazing at the guitar. It's a really nice time, followed by a Shabbat dinner that you are welcome to come to, even if you do not come to services. We know that's not everyone's jam, even though it is definitely a fun jam. But that's just a typical week. And especially at the beginning of the year, we do a lot to just have opportunities for students to meet each other. So for freshmen to meet other freshmen, for freshmen to meet the rest of the Jewish campus community and larger Jewish community. So stay on the lookout. Probably over the summer, end of July, early August, we'll start sending out a bunch of info to like just save the date type of things of different events. Like we'll do a barbecue, we'll do a freshman fiesta, we'll like do some sort of exploring Charleston activity together. Like there will be lots going on. So stay tuned and check your emails for that. And also there will be information about our FISH program, which is FYSH, first year students of Hillel, which is how we it's like a matching program, almost like a big little type of deal where we match Jewish students with shared interests so that they can have an upperclassman mentor. And we'll match you over the summer so that you already have another student to go to when you get to campus. Like there's already that personal connection into Jewish life. So that is the majority of my spiel. And I think I'll let before I start asking questions, I think I'll just let all the students introduce themselves. I'll just call on you based on the order of my screen. So Charlie, if you want to speak first, just introduce yourself, your name, your majors, and what you're involved in on campus.
Sure. Hi, everyone. My name is Charlie Forstein. I'm a sophomore in the Honors College studying international studies and psychology, and I'm from New York, New York. I'm involved in a lot on campus, but to just give you guys a little bit of information, I work for Jewish Studies. I'm a tour guide on campus. I also do research at the Medical University of South Carolina, and I'm involved in a nonpartisan voter registration organization on campus. So I'm happy to answer your questions about Jewish life or about literally anything else. I've been trained to answer lots of tour type questions.
Thank you, Charlie. Rebecca, introduce yourself, please.
Hi, I'm Rebecca Gundersheim. I'm a freshman at the college. I'm from Charlotte, North Carolina, and I'm studying Jewish studies and a music minor. I'm Shabbat chair on the Hillel board, and I am also an active member in Havara, that peer facilitated group. I'm also in the HERE club, that's Holocaust Education and Remembrance. And I'm also a Perlmutter Fellow, and I'm in Sigma Kappa, and yeah.
Great, thank you, Rebecca. Sophie, would you like to introduce yourself, please?
Yeah, hi everyone. I'm Sophie Barron. I'm from Dallas, Texas. I am a freshman here at the college. I am studying communications and I'm minoring in leadership for sustainability. And I am involved in so many things like Greek life, and I'm in the Jewish Learning Fellowship with Deb and Mike. And I'm the outreach chair on Hillel board, and I'm also in the Perlmutter Fellows program. So if y'all have questions, feel free to ask any of us when it gets to the chance.
Thank you so much. CJ, would you please introduce yourself?
Yeah, I'm CJ Torsellini. I'm the Jewish student recruitment intern here at the college. I'm majoring in marketing and minoring in Jewish studies. I'm a member of ATO, which is a fraternity on campus. I'm in an a cappella group called the Trippin' Tones. Trying to think of other things. I think that mainly covers it. I used to be involved with the Reformed Temple off campus. So if you have any questions about that, I can answer those. But I think that mainly covers it.
Thank you, CJ. And last but not least, Mike, if you would.
Hi, everyone. My name is Michael Stein. I'm a freshman in the Honors College here, and I'm from Richmond, Virginia. I'm an English major and a Jewish Studies minor. I'm involved with the Meditation Club, a club called Student Alumni Associates, where we sort of uphold the traditions of the College of Charleston. And I run a sports podcast about basketball.
Thank you all so much. One of the things that I love about CofC is that you're able to get involved in so many things. You don't have to just pick one thing to be your thing. You really are able to have it all here. So I guess that leads me into my first question for our student panelists, which is why did you choose CofC? What was the deciding factor or factors? Anyone can just unmute and hop in.
So I'll start. There's so many reasons, but one specific reason that I really want to touch on, just from like a student's perspective, I know Yaron talked about this a little bit, but I've never seen like anti-Semitism here on campus. And when I was applying to schools, I would email every single school and like ask them about anti-Semitism on campus and what it was like there in Jewish life and stuff like that. And I can honestly say that it's so safe here. And that was definitely just a big factor for me. So, yeah.
Great.
I'm going to jump in after Sophie and just add that when I was going through the admissions process, I really felt like the College of Charleston cared about me as a person and not just a statistic. So they were really interested in what I wanted to do, how I wanted to be seen on campus, what I wanted to get involved in. And even more importantly, the reason why I stayed at the College of Charleston is because as soon as I got on campus, they actually started putting what they were saying into action. So from the first day I stepped on campus, I got involved in probably 4 or 5 different organizations. And my areas have changed a little bit, but I still see people come up to me and come up to other people on campus to express areas that they might be well fit or well versed to help out. And I think that's really important and unique to the College of Charleston, how much everybody cares to make you the most successful version of yourself. So that's definitely why I chose it.
Awesome.
I'll hop in real quick. A really big draw for me was the Honors College. I really liked that program where I would have a little bit of extra advising from everyone. But the Jewish Studies program was actually a big reason I came here, because even when I was just searching in the beginning of my college decision, when I was just like, all right, where do I start? I was like, okay, who has a Jewish community? And it was here.
I want to jump in after
Thank
you.
Yeah.
Definitely the Jewish community aspect of the college was a huge factor for me, not only within the college, but outside of the college. There's a Reform synagogue a block away from the campus. So that was a huge draw for me. And then just the city in general. I don't think we have said that, but it's beautiful. There is, we're a block away from King Street. Everything is walkable. Honestly, I couldn't have been to come to a better place to just walk around and experience college in this city. So,
and also like a couple beaches right down the road, so that's cool too.
For me, it was definitely the location and the major, which people have talked about, but the Jewish Studies major is absolutely excellent. That's what I wanted to do, and I am so happy here, as well as the location. It's beautiful. It's not like anything else I looked at, and it's an amazing place to be.
Thank you all so much. I kind of want to jump off what Charlie was alluding to about getting involved in different things. So everyone on this call is going to be a freshman somewhere in the fall. How do you get involved? What was sort of like, yeah, how did you get involved? I'll let you take that all as you will.
All right, I can start out. This is I feel like I'm gonna sound crazy, but in the start of last semester when it was COVID filled, I literally, on all my Zoom classes, I just private messaged everyone. And I was like, do you want to be in a study group? And, a bunch of people were like, oh, you're a weirdo. But the other half were like, yeah, totally. Because you may not think this, but literally every freshman on campus is feeling the same way and they want to make friends. So if you just make that quick first move, that's how I made some friends. And then to get involved in like clubs and stuff, honestly, every college tour you're going to go to, they're going to say, oh, we have 100,000 clubs. Look through the list. But sincerely, like, do that. That's what I did. I went through and joined like 7 clubs and picked out the ones that I'm really interested in and focused on that.
Great. Charlie, you have to answer this one because you are the queen of clubs.
Okay, I'm happy to answer. So Mike is right. We don't have 100,000 clubs. We have a little over 200. But it's not hard to start a club if your area of interest isn't already represented by one of our 200 clubs. So we have anything from like cheese club to barbecue club to chess club to Russian club, and kind of everything in between. But if there's not a club that you're interested in, you just grab your friends, you and 10 friends, and you go to student government. They help set you out with the budget and help you get started as far as like leadership stuff goes. So that's a way to start a club if you're interested. But if there is already a club that you want to be part of on campus, in the fall, pretty much the whole first month of school, we're going to have different organization fairs and tabling events. So there's organizations that set up and give out tons of free stuff, whether that's free shirts, free food.
Take it, even if you're not going to join the club. They don't ask for the t-shirt back if you don't show up.
I'm telling you, the organization fair dressed me my entire freshman year. That's all I wore. But it's not hard to get involved in anything. Kind of like Mike said, you just kind of put yourself out there and see what really fits best with you and what sticks. So it's totally okay to sign up for as many clubs as you want to be in and then cut it down later in the year. But as far as me, I just picked what I was interested in and then just try to commit myself to everything I do.
One quick thing to add, go outside of your comfort zone. And if you have any interest in something, go to the interest meeting. Like, just go. Like, even if you have a tiny interest and you're like, ooh, that sounds cool, but I never thought I would think that I never thought I would think that's cool. Just go and see what it's like and what they have to offer, because you never know.
Any last thoughts?
Oh,
Yeah.
oh wait, was someone gonna go?
Go ahead.
I was just gonna add, like, you know, it might be like a little scary to go out of your comfort zone and go to the interest meeting, but like most of them are gonna have like free pizza or something. So there's no harm. Like, there's no harm.
Great. Thank you, everybody. So I'm going to preface my next question by saying that when you go to college, for most students, it's the first time that you actively have to choose Jewish life or choose to get involved Jewishly, rather than it kind of being prescribed to you, being shipped off to summer camp, sent to Hebrew school, whatever your variety of Jewish experiences have been. This is the first time that you have to choose it for yourself for many people. And so I'd like to hear from our current students, how being involved in Jewish life has enhanced your college experience.
Yeah, I'll go first. Honestly, Jewish life has made me feel so comfortable. It's given me a place to go when I'm bored or in like a mood or something. Like if I just walk into the Jewish Studies building, like I'm good. I'm surrounded by it. It honestly feels like a family, literally just walking into the building, because even if you don't know someone, it's just everyone's so welcoming. And so I like, honestly, everyone is just so approachable too. And the staff also are amazing. I just like go into like Deb's office and just chat when I'm bored, and she is just such a great person to talk to, and just anyone is. So I just go when I'm bored, honestly.
I can add a little bit. So I was super involved in my youth group in high school. I did NIFTY. I know people all did different programs. And I seriously was like, I'm just going to go to college and try something different. Like, I need a break from what I was doing. So I kind of furthered myself from my Jewish community at the beginning of my freshman year, and would still go to Meet to Eats, would still hang out with people on Wednesdays, and then just felt like something was really missing from my day-to-day, and especially like my weeks. So second semester my freshman year, and a lot more this year, I started going to services. I started hanging out with more Jewish friends on campus. I started going to more Hillel events. And that really was the part of college that was missing for me. I came to college like, I need to do something different than what I did in high school, when I really just needed to go to college and say, maybe what I did in high school is what I really actually enjoyed and valued. So that is why I got involved in the Jewish community, and it's honestly been so rewarding. I've met all of the current students on this call through Jewish life, and seen them really just grow and thrive in their positions or the ways that they interact with the Jewish community. So it's really cool for my personal development, and also like seeing other people grow in their Judaism, but also just like as a college student, it's a great safe place to hang out and grow.
I would add, so I mean, I'm a Jewish studies minor, so I'm taking the classes and I'm doing the learning opportunities with Sophie and Deb, and I'm going to all the meet and greets. But what really does it for me is the people are just so welcoming. Like, there are other organizations where you may not be able to foster those connections, but already, even during COVID, I've been able to make friends with, you know, sophomores, juniors, seniors, and bond over things that are Jewish, but also stuff like basketball. For me, we have a Hillel bracket for the March Madness stuff. And so it's like, they just want to like be friends with you instead of you want to be friends with them. I mean, it goes both ways, but like some places don't have it go both ways.
Yeah, I wanted to, well, obviously I'm not a current student, but I wanted to add that I feel like I've done my job if Jewish students are actually bringing their non-Jewish friends to Shabbat or Meet to Eat, because being Jewish, it's just going to be one part of your college experience. And so I think it says a lot about our program when I see students bring their non-Jewish roommates or friends, because that means you're willing to show a different side that you maybe don't normally show those friends, introduce them to your world or this part of your world. And that always makes me feel good, like I'm doing something right. And our goal here really is to make sure that all Jewish students feel comfortable and safe on campus. So there are some students who like come a lot freshman year and then kind of get their group, and like I don't see them as much. We always, wave on campus, but they found their people, and that's great. There are other people who, like Charlie said, kind of distance themselves at the beginning. Like, I went to Jewish day school. Oh my God, I just got back from a summer at camp. Like, I need a break from all the Jewish stuff, who then pop back in sophomore, junior, or even senior year. And you're welcome at any time is basically what I'm trying to say. We will definitely be reaching out tons to just share with you opportunities to get involved, but it's not any pressure. It's like, come as you are when you're ready. And so if it's just for high holidays, great. If it's every week, even better. But zero pressure. We are just here.
Can I add something? I just want to say, from my perspective, not just as director of the program, but as also a professor here, that there is something very sort of holistic about the experience in the Jewish Studies program. Like, I taught at four other institutions before this one. And in all of them, I taught my students in the classroom and I left, and I really only saw those students, and they only saw each other. These were large classrooms, mostly only saw each other during those twice a week when I taught the course. But here there's a sense, a lot of people that I teach, many of the students that I teach, I see them at some of the meals, and I see them in the hallways, and I see them in the student lounge, and it's like, and then some of them I'm seeing here who are already in my classes, right? So, and it's just, there is a place for me. This is my sense. Again, this is a faculty perspective that that if you come here as a student, you really get this place that does everything for you, right? You take your classes here, and your social life is here. There's this just one great place. I am sure all of you have also social life outside of Jewish studies, and that's of course fine. But I'm saying this is really just, to me, it's a cool place. Like, I wish, honestly, I wish I had a place like that when I was an undergrad. My experience was nothing like that at all. So that's just my sense.
Thank you, everybody. I want to switch gears towards your academic experience and ask everybody to share your favorite class that you've taken at CofC so far. No pressure for it to be Jewish studies, but it's cool if it is. Of course.
It doesn't have to be my class either. I just want to say.
So right now I am taking a communications class. Sorry, it's not Jewish studies, but it's super fun. Basically, instead of having tests and quizzes, we have a badge system. So basically there are a certain number of projects that we can do throughout the semester, and we can choose which projects we want to do. And those projects relate to real life experiences. So I can complete different certifications for specific things. And that would be me like completing one of my projects, and then I would just have to like complete a certain amount of projects in order to get like an A, B, C. But it's really cool because it's real life stuff. Like, for example, one of the projects I'm doing right now is called the Life Skills Project, where I'm basically learning how to like jumpstart a car and like sew a sock or cook a meal, stuff like that, or make a budget for myself, things that typical like school won't teach me. And it's really cool that I get to take a class learning these life skills. So that's really cool.
I think I need to take that class still, probably. So anyone else want to share about a class they've enjoyed?
I do. I can't pick just one. So I'm going to do like a really brief summary of like a past, present, future classes. So last semester I took a 10K training course to run the Cooper River Bridge Run. So the 10K didn't actually happen in Charleston because of COVID, but I trained the whole semester to be able to run 6.2 miles. And actually, when I went home for COVID, I did a makeshift Cooper River Bridge Run and did it on my own. So that was a really cool way to get in shape, start running again, and actually get credit for it. The current class that I wanted to highlight is called Psychology of Social Change. It's a really cool class where we look at social development and how we interact with communities around us, specifically like minority communities. So that's like pretty eye-opening in the way I look at the world. And the one that I'm looking forward to is called Spiritual Activism and Climate Change. And this one I'm particularly excited about because we're taking a fall break trip to an eco village in Asheville to see how people put like sustainable development inside their communities, because sustainability is a large topic that we talk about at the College of Charleston. But I've been here for 4 semesters and those are 3 of the most exciting classes. I literally couldn't pick one. So if that tells you anything about the classes that are offered, I think it's pretty indicative of a pretty normal college experience to have really exciting classes here anyway.
And being able to take a lot of that as a freshman too.
I can jump in. I'm not just saying this because he's on the call. My favorite class actually is one of the classes that I have with your own. Every semester, the Jewish Studies program has special topics courses and they change. So some of the examples are like Jews and gender. Right now I'm in a racism and anti-Semitism class with your own, and it is so interesting. We have really important discussions about these issues in the modern world, and it is really excellent. I know he's teaching a Black and Arab Jews 201 class next semester, and then Ashley Walters is teaching like Bombs, Bolsheviks, and the Radical Left. They're just really cool courses about really interesting things, and I've had a really awesome time taking them.
All the professors are super cool. Like, they are just cool people. They're young, they're with it, they're hands-on. And then I saw there's a question in the chat, but if Mike,
there's a question about study abroad in Israel. I'm happy to take that now or later, whenever you want.
Let's see if CJ or Mike want to add anything, and then we can get to that question.
Yeah, I want to say what my favorite class was. I think thinking back on it, it would probably have to be my Hebrew classes. So as a Jewish Studies minor, you need 4 Hebrew classes to get that credit. And that's 2 full years of Hebrew. And
which you need to take a language for the college anyway.
Yeah, so it's a supplement for language. You know, you can choose Spanish or French or whatever, but you can take Hebrew as well. They offer it at the college. And it was honestly like just the most engaging classes that I had in college. So I started off my freshman year, first semester, with around 25 to 30 students in that class. And then over like the next, year and a half of college, that progressively got less. So by the last semester that I took Hebrew, there was about 11 students in my class. We were all super close. We were all good friends. And it was just really personal, great learning. And, it was almost 2 years ago since I took Hebrew, and I still remember the stuff that I learned from that class. The professors that taught me, first it was Nitsa, then she left, and then it was, Noah. She's amazing. She's a new professor at the college. And I can't say enough about her. She's so great. But yeah, that's probably my favorite class that I took here.
All right, I'll keep it short and sweet. One, I'm really excited for the class Rebecca was talking about, that is Jews on the Radical Left. I'm taking that next semester. But the favorite one that I've taken so far is actually just my basic general education English class, solely because they made it really interdisciplinary. And what I mean by that is like, we, instead of just like reading a book and writing an essay about it, we engage English in all sorts of ways, like writing essays, but also doing projects and making videos and all that sort of stuff. And I also got to write about whatever I wanted. So it was just the best of both worlds for me.
Amazing. Thank you guys. And I think let's take a minute to, I think Rowan, you're probably the best equipped to answer both questions, maybe.
Okay, sure. Let me try. Study abroad in Israel. You don't have, the question was about junior year, but you don't have to wait till junior year. Typically people don't go in their freshman year, but other than that, there's not really a problem. You can do it. I guess sophomore year and junior year are the two most common years to study abroad. We right now don't have a formal agreement with Israeli universities, but it's in the works. We are working on a student exchange plan with Tel Aviv University, which we think is the coolest place to study if you go to Israel, because we think if you're already making the trip over there, you want to be exposed to the culture and the language. And some other institutions in Israel, either you're surrounded by other American kids, so you'd never get to be exposed to the language, or it's just not as cool of a place as Tel Aviv is. And Tel Aviv University is really great, and we've had conversations with them, and it's at a level that they're looking into the legal documentation, which, as you know, that can take some time when the lawyers work on stuff, but it will happen. We will have an agreement with Tel Aviv University, but the fact is you don't need the agreement. The agreement just makes the bureaucracy a lot simpler, but you don't really need the agreement. You can go and study at any university in Israel that you want. The only issue is that you have to approve the courses that you take there in advance. And there's a procedure for this. You get them approved in advance and you get the credit when you come back. It's fairly simple. And these are really good programs. They have both at Tel Aviv University and the Hebrew University, there are plenty of courses to take in English, not just in Jewish studies, by the way, in lots of other areas. So if they don't cover all the majors we have at the College of Charleston, but they cover quite a few options. And many students, even if they don't cover their majors, they would go there and either they would add a minor in a new topic and do it this way, or they would cover some of the general education courses during their study abroad. I mean, there are all sorts of ways to get it done. So the answer is yes. There are plenty of options, and there are going to be more options. That's for the first question. And as I said, there are possibilities for us to help with the funding, but we typically help those who are Jewish studies majors. If you're not a Jewish studies major, we might be able to help you. It really depends on the situation and what our funding is like in that particular year. Now, as for the other question about Israeli students at the College of Charleston, right now I know of 3. I'm sure there are more. Probably not many more. I know of 3. You know them too, Deb, I think. So we have Gal. Well, she's a child of Israelis, I suppose, but she speaks Hebrew. And we have Hadass, who is actually Israeli. And we have Lauren Cohen, who, despite her name Lauren, she is actually also the daughter of Israelis. So, and they're the 3 that I know of. There are probably others.
There's a handful more, or
yes.
A handful of students who, like, even if they aren't Israeli, like spend time in Israel with day school, camp, like have grandparents in Israel, that sort of thing.
Well, once we have the student exchange with Tel Aviv University, exchange means that Israeli students come here too. And I believe that can start in maybe not this coming academic year, maybe the year after. So, and that would mean we would have 2 or 3 Israeli students here pretty much anytime.
Great. Sorry, did someone else?
No,
okay. I have one last question for the students, and of course, any questions that anyone may have, happy to answer. And my final question for y'all is, what advice would you give to this incoming freshman class? Or any last advice, because you've given lots of great suggestions and advice. So.
I'm going to go with why I chose the College of Charleston and go back a little bit. I know I'm super biased, and when I was picking, College of Charleston was the place that was looking at me as a person and not just a statistic. And I'm biased, and I hope that you guys also say that that's the case for you. But pick the place that makes you feel like a person and where you feel like you can be most successful, because your gut feeling is probably right. And, you know, we all hope it's here. This is probably the best place you could ever be. Again, opinion, but definitely a good one to go by. But definitely pick the place where you feel like you can be most successful and that they're going to support you.
Oh, Rebecca, you're muted still.
I was just saying, yeah, that was just great. Yeah.
I can go. So I've got two things. Like I said earlier, just put yourself out there because everybody is scared and in the same situation as you. They want friends, but academically, you're going to be at a liberal arts school, so please take classes you're interested in. You have to take gen eds, but there are so many options and unique classes that we have here that, like, specifically with with the Jewish Studies program, but also there's a festival called Spoleto here. You can like literally take a class on that, or a sailing class, or whatever. So take classes you actually want to get up for and go to and pay attention in.
That's great. CJ, you're about to graduate. Any imparting wisdom to share?
Honestly, I was gonna say what Mike said. Stick to your interests. I feel like yeah, when taking classes, we have so many different classes to offer. And same with clubs, just don't miss out on an opportunity to, do something at the school, because there's so many opportunities here that, there's no excuse to not, jump on those opportunities. So take pride in, your passions and your hobbies, and really let it shine here at the college if you come, because it's a great place for that. Yeah.
Oh, also get extra dining dollars for Chick-fil-A. You will be using a lot of money on Chick-fil-A.
That's true.
I know there's a question in the chat that we want to answer, but I also want to invite if the current students are comfortable putting like their email or anything in the chat for your organized email, we can put in. That's also very accessible online. But if you wanted to reach out to a current student, no pressure. But if you wanted to share, I think it would be nice to offer that connection. Yaron, will you put mine in the chat if you don't mind too? I'm just on my device. Okay.
There's no other question in the chat.
Oh, Charlie
I had a
had
question privately that I just wanted to address for everyone. So we had a question about recruitment and what that might look like in the fall. So right now the college is projecting that we're going to be back in person for classes, kind of like normal. If the projection stays right, then like we totally should be back. So as far as Russian recruitment, my understanding is that it's going to be hybrid. So some of the first rounds, like open house, where you're going to have a few hundred girls going through at the same time, are probably going to be virtual. But then as the rounds get smaller and more specific, it'll probably be in person. So this is like, don't contract me on this. This is just what I've been hearing. But as far as Russian recruitment, if you go through formal recruitment, girls move in a week early to school and then participate in recruitment and have a bid to their sorority on the first day of classes. And male recruitment for fraternities is the first week of classes. So you don't move in early, but you can still have a bid by like the first week. I hope that answers the question.
Any other questions? Last thoughts? I'm just double checking the chat. Oh, I got a question that I will answer here. Somebody asked about signing up for the mentoring program. So we're still putting that together and putting the final touches on over the summer. But you will get an email from Hillel probably end of July, early August, about a month before move-in, it'll be a Google form to fill out to get paired with the mentor. Well, if there are no more questions, I think this was really great. Thank you to everyone who came and to the wonderful students who shared their experiences at CofC.
Thank you all very much.
While everybody here is exceptional, really everybody at the college is involved in so many different things. Like, they are not the exception, even though they are exceptional, if that makes sense. So thank you all, and hope to see you in the fall.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Bye-bye. Good night.
Bye, guys.
Thank you all.
Great night.